you're watching Miss Nigeria TV. My name is Ibukun Awosika and I'm the current CEO of Fiber Rose, a female fashion brand, and during the day I work as a DevOps engineer. Basically, I started my fashion brand when I was in 200 level, and at the time I had made some skirts for myself over the holidays, and then a friend suggested to me that I could do it as a business because I was already running several businesses. But I first of all resisted, and then eventually I got into it. So on Sundays I would wear like my best skirt to church, and then everybody would see it and they would be like, oh, that one that you want on Sunday, that's the one I want. And little by little, from my customers to people in my hall, different people started ordering for the skirts. And then over time I got on Instagram, and then I was getting orders from different parts of Nigeria. So after school I struggled a bit because it's a different thing when you're in school and then when you're out of school, because in school it's a small environment and people see you all the time, so you're in their faces. But at the time I was outside school and it seemed like the business was just not going anywhere. I was even ready to sell off my fabric and just forget about it because I didn't have a studio. I was outsourcing my work at the time. But it started picking up from Instagram, people were requesting, and then I continued. And then over time I had to now establish myself properly. So I started getting machines and I started getting my own staff rather than giving it to people who already have their own shop. And one of the main challenges I had was basically getting staff who would stay or staff who were reliable, because nowadays a lot of people want money but they don't really want to work, and it was a struggle for me. So when I had a tailor in-house, I would work with them, and if I didn't, I'll outsource my work. And of course that was a bit of a challenge for me because you kind of have to maintain your standard when you're a fashion person, because nobody wants to buy something from you one day and it's great and the next day it just doesn't look great. So but over time I was able to balance it out, get staff who stay and staff who are reliable. Once in a while there are hiccups there, but you work with what you have. And then because I have been doing it for a while, I kind of got channels where I could get stuff from when I need them. So it's no more as difficult as it used to be in the beginning. And I think another thing I would highlight here is, even though I started my business in school, I know a number of young people are struggling with that because your parents don't really support you. But what I would advise you to do is to kind of balance it out. Make sure that your academics are not suffering, because no parents really wants to send their child to school and then they're doing business but their academics is suffering. So prove to them that you can do the two at the same time, and over time you will see that they will support you, because really what they want for you is to succeed. Now, because I studied computer science in school and this is fashion, it's like two different worlds, I had to find a solution for that when I left school. And my parents were already having oh, I'm just going to not work and do my fashion thing. So I had to look for a job, which eventually I started to enjoy and I still work at today. And over the years, I've changed my line of work, not leaving computer science entirely, but still within that, and I'm still enjoying it. So the benefits of being an entrepreneur anyway is that even though I'm a fashion person, I get to develop other skills. So I began to find other things that I love to do, even while still being an entrepreneur, because I'm like a one-man show pretty much apart from my staff. So I have to be the marketer. I now take my pictures myself, I edit my pictures myself, I make sure that like I'm branding my business as well as I can. So being an entrepreneur just has opened the door for me to learn as many skills as possible. Now, if you look at, I look at fashion in two ways. I look at fashion in the sense that, one, everybody has to wear clothes, and that's what makes fashion a very important business, or a very important industry. And when you think about developed countries, when you look at like maybe companies like ASOS or Primark, if you look at what they're doing on a grand scale, what they're really doing is boosting the industry, boosting the economy of the countries. And that's where I hope to see the Nigerian fashion industry go in the nearest future, because we don't have enough like retail brands. And what that means is that not many people are getting enough jobs. Imagine having like Primarks in every state in the country. How many jobs do you think that would create? Or having like ASOS, or having like a multiple of them. And that has become like one of my main focuses this year, to try and encourage other designers, young designers who are coming up, by giving them like affordable production services. So if you want to make your ready to wear line and you don't have the capacity to do it, Fiber Rose can do it for you. And that's where I'm going. And then the second um, outlook to fashion for me is looking at it as an armor. And what I mean is, women, like when we put on clothes, when we put on makeup, it's like, see, nobody can touch me, I can conquer the world. And every time I make a piece for a client of mine, I know that okay, whenever this woman wears this dress, she has to feel like, okay, I am ready to conquer the world. And those are the two outlooks I have on fashion, pretty much. And those are the things that motivates me, knowing that I'm adding something to somebody's life personally, and I can also add something to the economy, in the long run. And when I look at the bigger picture, by providing jobs, and yeah, pretty much just making sure that like everything stays within the Nigerian economy. It's not like, oh, okay, we are outsourcing this, or we are outsourcing that, or we are exporting this. Of course, that's going to take a long while to get to, but it starts from somewhere, and that's where my passion is right now. If you want to start a fashion business, one thing I would really I advise you to do is to actually know your thing. Like, be able to cut, be able to sew, be able to do all these things. Because when you employ staff, even though they go, for you to be able to maintain your standards so that you can teach the next person what to do or how you do your things, it's very important for you to be able to do these things. And if you learn on your own, if you go to fashion school, however you can get that knowledge, it's very important for you to get that. And I would advise you to keep your cost as low as possible. When I started, I was outsourcing my work, so I could get maybe as low as 500 naira for a skirt from an external tailor. Of course, by the time I add the materials I'm buying and all of that, it would go up to, it would be more than that. But I wasn't thinking about rent, I wasn't thinking about fuel until when I really needed to. And now that I'm at that stage of the business, when I find ways to cut my costs, I do that. So if it means that maybe I'm sharing a space with somebody, and maybe they pay half of the rent, or they pay half of the diesel money, or whatever, that I have to do that, because that keeps my costs low, and I can give my customers good prices, and at the same time I'm giving them excellent quality. So try to keep your costs as low as possible, and don't be afraid to experiment. Fashion is all about creativity. Try new things, try new ways of doing things, and just stay true to yourself, and stay true to your quality. And one thing I would really advise is know your price point and base that on the value that you're offering. A lot of times, like, people want to like buy you or cheat you, and it's like, oh, okay, why should I pay this when I can pay that to that person? And in reality, when you look at it, like, you're not offering the same value, and you're not offering the same package. If you think your roadside tailor can do better, try it out. When she messes up your clothes, you can come back to me, and I will give you good quality at a good time, and for a good price. So know your price point, stick to it, stick to your value. As long as you're offering value, people will always be willing to pay. Basically, what I live by is to just keep trying and keep doing my best at every point in time. If I'm at this stage, what is the best that I can do? If I'm at the next stage, what is the best that I will do? I'm always trying to learn, I'm always trying to research, trying to see what I can do to make myself better. And that's one thing you enjoy when you're an entrepreneur. You get to learn so many things. You're not stuck in one rigid place, and you have the floor to experiment. So don't be afraid to use the floor, don't be afraid to use that ground. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, keep at it, and over time you will see the benefits of it. So you can find me on Twitter, fiber_rose, that's FIBER_rose. You can also find me on Instagram at the same handle, FIBER_rose. And you can find me on YouTube, The Hot Stuff TV. And yeah, my website is coming soon. So maybe when you find me on Instagram, you see my website when it's ready. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Miss Nigeria for giving me this opportunity to come on your platform. Thank you very much. Bye.